What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to talk to you today, kind of diving into specifically a topic I have covered before, but the question was financial coach was reading a book, and the book strongly suggested that you should set up a 401k when you go to work, and strongly suggested you should contribute to take advantage of the max. And the financial coach was curious because she was told that she can't talk about investments, and 401k obviously is an investment account, and taking advantage of the match is kind of suggesting how much they should invest as well. So I want to explain that this is not investment advice, as defined by the limits here of what is allowable by someone who is not licensed, right? So, in general, if you are going to give investment advice, you need some sort of securities license, six, seven, typically, in advice around it and strategy, usually a 63 or a 66. I've had the Series 7 and the 66. I didn't have a 6 and a 63. I think they are slightly easier to get, get you kind of close to that, I think. So, but having a 7 and 66, I was able to talk really about pretty much anything I wanted to. And I can tell you that the issue here is generally, and, certainly seek out someone who's an expert in this space on your own. A legal expert, a compliance expert, a licensed expert that can give you specific advice. But the reason is that me telling you that you should open a 401k, me telling you that you should invest in that 401k is not investment advice. That's just a strategy. The 401k is just a wrapper. It's just an account. It's what we call an IRA, an individual retirement agreement, right? And so what that is it's just kind of a general strategy. I haven't given you any information on things that are regulated or controlled by a federal entity, right? So I haven't said buy ABC fund or ETF or XYZ stock or ETN or anything like that, right? As soon as I get into what you should put in there, like if I give you A, B, C, D, E, F mutual fund or LMNOP, mutual fund or whatever it might be, that is now saying, hey, there is this specific investment that I think you should buy. And it's connecting an investment to you. And the issue there is that you aren't properly licensed to be able to prove to a regulator or an auditor that that was a suitable recommendation, that that was a good recommendation, that you were acting as a fiduciary in that capability. But for me to say, I said, yeah, go ahead, you should open that 401k, that could just, I would argue, should they? Because you could argue that a qualified account is not the way to invest your money, that you should just pay the capital gains on non-qualified assets. I could argue that. You could argue that it's just because of the match, or whatever you want to do. But that is just a general strategy. And there's nothing in that has specifically said this investment vehicle, like this stock, ETF, ETN, mutual fund, whatever it might be, is the right thing to have. Once you get into those spaces, and I would say even if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he kind of talks about, listen, you should invest, and I don't even know what he says, but, a large cap growth, a large cap value, I don't know, an international growth fund or something like that. Even that, which is getting closer to that line, is not a specific piece of investment advice. It's not a specific investment. You can't say that he said a large cap growth fund and know which one he's talking about, because there are hundreds, maybe thousands of those out there. And so, he's not on the hook for saying, yeah, you went out and bought X, Y, and Z or ABC or whatever it is. And you can't go back and say, like, Dave Ramsey told me to. Where did he say that? He just said that you should have a large growth value fund. Now, I'm kind of arguing against, if you don't have a license, you probably, even for the armchair enthusiast, you probably can't break down the specifics enough to really justify why maybe you're saying that, right? A lot of the metrics that we use to evaluate those types of things. So I would probably even shy away from that a little bit, unless you really have a firm handle on that, good competence in that. But saying set up a 401k, setting up a 401k to get the match from your employer, setting up a Roth IRA, any of these types of things are just general educational investment strategies, and they aren't investment recommendations. So hopefully that helps clear that up a little bit. I don't know, maybe I made it even more confusing than it had to be. But if you do have questions, let me know. But yes, saying those types of things doesn't get you in trouble. In fact, I tell people all the time, hey, you should set up this type of account. You qualify for a Roth, you should set that up. If your kids have earned income, help them set up a Roth account, whatever it might be. That's not investment advice. Those are investment strategies, as best I can tell. So hopefully that helps. I bear no responsibility if that gets you in trouble. I'll see you later.